Everybody, please make a lot of noise for my friend Bridget O'Neill.
Drew does not need to thank me. I like a lot of attention all the time, so this was easy for me. So I was 12 years old, and I was in junior high when I convinced my mother to take me to see the movie Porky's. Convincing her it was about a pig farm. I said it was educational, kind of like Animal Farm. And so she said, sure. So the reason I wanted to see this movie so bad is because junior high is weird. I was in 6th grade, and then you have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and you just left 5th grade. So it's like, it's very confusing. And everyone's talking about tits and hard-on, and I was like, what's that? But I needed to know because all the older kids were talking about this, and there was like this secret society, and I wanted in, right? And also because I really wanted to impress this guy named Chad Bates. He was in my grade, but his brother was in 8th, so his brother was older. And he had access to this movie, and they all went, and everyone's talking about it, and I wasn't there. So Chad had like shoulder-length hair, sandy blonde, and he loved Sabbath, and he would wear these quarter-length sleeve shirts just of Ozzy Osbourne, and he was so fucking cool, and he would pen in like Sharpie, OZZY. Right? I was fucking in. I fucking like this dude. So I needed to catch up. So I think my goal was to see this movie and to kind of get it out there that I know about some things as well. So that was my goal. So the only older people I knew were my parents, so that's why I asked them. And so I like to think and then Chad's brother Chad had access to like all these older women in 8th grade, but these women they had like feathered hair, like perfectly feathered hair like Farrah Fawcett, and they had curves. They had curves where the comb would fit in the back pocket of their Jordache jeans. They had curves that would rainbow over the band t-shirts that they were wearing. And so the guys in school called me a carpenter's dream, flat as a board. So that's where I was. And my 3 quarter-length sleeves had the Smurfs on it that said, keep on smurfing. So I had shit to learn. And I have to say, I wasn't that naive because I did have Judy Blume, which is every girl's cool mother. So I had her, and I would read Blubber and Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. And so I learned about masturbation and bullying and periods and all these things. And one day, this girl came into class with Judy Blume's book, Forever. Yep. Yeah. Page 81. And I'll recite it. So she brought it in, and she would pass it around class to all the girls, and it was like dog-eared, and I was like, what is this all about? So then I would read it, and I'll recite what it said. It said, Michael was hard, and I was wet, and I guess they fucked, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so in 5th grade, we had a nurse who was, we had a class nurse or a school nurse that taught us about sex, and she's, the penis and the vagina. I don't know what she was saying, but it was just like there's a penis and a vagina and it goes in, and you're like, okay. But with Forever, it had to be hard. Okay, I didn't know that. And the girl had to be wet. Oh, I didn't know that either. And then I realized that's why couples have sex in the shower. So I was learning things. So here we go. It's Friday night, And my mom says to my father, "Hey, Joe, we're going to go see the movie Porky's." And he said, "That sounds good to me." He knew what it was about. And then we put we put my 11-year-old brother in the car as well. And he comes along. And we're in a green Ford station wagon, kind of like the Griswolds going to Wally World, only this is the O'Neills going to see Porky's, and in a drive-in theater in Pennsylvania. So to upscale the skeeviness in this factor right now, in this scenario, my dad pulls in with a bad comb over, and he pulls up, and the female attendant is there, and he's like, "Yeah, 4 for Porky's," and she like looks in the back at me and my brother. She's like, "Okay." And so we go in and we like dial in. You know, you dial in. As you do. And so we dial in. First 10 minutes is of TNA. And my dad is howling with laughter. We got Pee-wee, we got a peephole, we got broads in the shower. I'm like, everything I wanted. I was like, this is fucking fantastic. My dad is laughing. My mother says, "Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Joe, turn around, let's drive home." He says, "Drive home? I paid good money to get in here. I'm going to watch the program." And I said, "That's right, Dad. We're going to watch this fucking program." I got shit to learn. So anyway, you know, the short end of this is my mom was pissed. And she gave me a look, and I was in big trouble. And this is the 80s, and she threw, like, we had like this Afghan blanket in the back of this wonderful station wagon that we had. She threw it over us to veil our innocence. But we're like looking through the peephole, because it's an Afghan. That was like a big thing back in the 80s. Like, so we can see through it. And then she would just keep pulling us out of the car and take us to the snack. I had a lot of snow caps and popcorn. But I did see some stuff. So anyway, we get back home, and she's pissed, and I'm in trouble. And now it's Monday. The weekend went by, and now it's Monday, and I'm really excited. And she can see that I'm excited. And she says, "I know this is your English class, and you love this class." And she was right. So we would write journals, and then we got to stand up in front of class and read them aloud about our feelings or like what we did over the weekend. And I was going to lay some shit down that I knew, that I found out. So I was sitting there eating my Fruit Loops, and she said, "You're not going to say what we did this weekend, right?" I said, "Nah." And she said, "You can't do that. That would be that's very embarrassing to me. You can't do that." And I was like, "Oh my God, I just lost my cool factor right now," and that sucks. And so I was like, I was really conflicted. It's kind of like you have the angel on this shoulder, the devil on this shoulder. Remember those cartoons? And I'm in class, and I have my journal, and she calls me up, Bridget O'Neill, and I go up, and I go to read my journal, and I say, "This weekend, I saw E.T. And it was great, and it was fun." And I sat down, and I was just super bummed out. I was really bummed out, but I just, it's my mom. You have to listen to your mom. And I sat down, and I couldn't believe what happened next. At the end of class, Chad Bates comes up to me. I'm like, "Oh my God." And he says, "Oh man, I love that part in E.T. where Elliot gets drunk because E.T.'s drinking a beer." And I start laughing. I'm like, "Oh my God, I love the part when they conceal him in a sheet to look like a ghost when they're really going to sneak him out to get him back home and stuff." And we just start cracking up. And so that happened. And then that same year, my mom got me a book called Our Bodies and How We Change. Thank you.